And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Anytime you're talking about fundamentals in a market and direction, fundamentals take a little bit of time to play out.
We got crude oil today, kind of trading yesterday's value area really nicely, low to high.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the market recap. Still Tuesday, April the 26th. Quite the day today. Looking like it's going to be set up for another interesting and challenging day tomorrow. S&P's lost 3% today. Nasdaq lost 4% today. The Dow losing 2.5% today. A lot of the news, the talking heads are talking about how inflation fears, has been blamed for this sell-off, along with other geopolitical situations going on around the world. Home prices were up 20% in February, although they are suggesting a potential slowdown. March new home sales were lower than expected, and as rates rise, you're going to see the home sales certainly begin to slow down if they have not already. We're waiting for some important earnings to come out here this afternoon. Let me see if they've popped up on my screen here yet. Not seeing them yet. Waiting for Microsoft, Visa, and Alphabet, from what I understand. It's not on this list, but from what I understand, it's due out today. You may see them. I do not see them yet. Texas Instruments just came out beating both earnings and revenues. Just kind of keeping an eye here. As far as the markets today, crude oil closed the gap, and that gap close created some support. It took prices all the way back up above $100. We're waiting for the API number here at 3:30 to see what they think the inventories have done for the last week. The E-mini, S&P, the Nasdaq. We're holding on by a thread here, ladies and gentlemen. In the S&Ps, we've got a big delta divergence. We're going to see that in the chart. Opening ranges remain the high in the regular trading hour sessions today in both the Nasdaq and in the S&P. We opened below late spikes from yesterday. The nuances we're saying this was looking like a down day, especially after the S&Ps put up a hollow rally yesterday. Looks like we've created more late spikes to the downside this afternoon. So again, it's going to be another interesting trading day for us tomorrow. Gold kind of turned into a downside digestion day today. The Euro continuation traded down to that March 2020 swing low. Nasdaq, the 10-year overlapping to higher in a small range. Well, folks wondering when the next shoe is going to fall as far as rates. They keep slipping to the downside, but we know they're going up. Natural gas gap remains until the close, and finally, right after the close, they went down to close that upside gap that we put up there this morning. So we're going to see all these on the charts. As always, just kind of keep an eye on the earnings as they come out here. Haven't seen them yet. GE had good earnings. Yes, they did beat this morning. Google just took a dump, selling off hard. We've got the equities, the S&Ps, and the Nasdaq flirting with weekly kickoff lows, looking like we may have actually closed below both of them. Just kind of watching here still for the earnings. Microsoft beats on both earnings and revenue. Alphabet misses on both earnings and revenue. Both C and A shares missed on both. And Microsoft, again, beats on both. Microsoft beats on both. So no help from Google there, ladies and gentlemen, as far as riding the ship here, as our stocks are holding on by a thread. We're going to end up with an overlapping to lower April to March to March in the equities. I don't know, man. While you're here, make sure you hit the like button. Share, comment, question, feedback, heckling, and love are always welcome here in the market recap. We got the market forecast tomorrow. No market recap tomorrow. We've got the Top Step trading hour tomorrow at 2:30. I'll put the link in for you. I will try not to break anything this afternoon. Glad you found that funny. Here's the link. Afternoon, Jackalow. Scott saw and he conquered, first in the room. Tachyon, GT, Spencer, trying not to break anything, of course. Charles, good morning. Wow, what a day, right? Vince, good afternoon. Looks like we had a long squeeze coming into the end of the day. We know that we had some pretty strong delta divergence in the S&Ps. We had a lot of positive delta against direction. When we see that, we tend to create those late spikes late in the day. Yeah, got my popcorn ready for earnings, Dan. Yep. Frederico, Spencer, Steve, Jackalow, Dan, and Dan. Yeah, everybody talking about those earnings. So what are we looking like tomorrow? It's going to be another interesting and challenging trading day. As far as economic numbers tomorrow, what are we waiting for? Well, we know we have the EIA petroleum status report. We know we have preliminary GDP numbers on Thursday. Tomorrow, international trade numbers, pending home sales. Retail inventories and wholesale inventories, probably not going to be all that impactful. Really, the big one we're waiting for is the GDP number on Thursday. And it, again, is the preliminary, not the final number. Jobless claims as well on Thursday. We do not have the API number yet. That's due out in about 21 minutes at 3:30. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at the charts. Nasdaq dropping like a rock. Yeah, we are in trouble, folks. We are in trouble. Hanging by a thread and looking like a spider hanging on a spider's thread. Looking like we are headed towards the toilet. All right. Let's take a look at the charts here. And I'm not excited about any more correction in the downside in our equities. Let's start with crude oil this afternoon. With crude oil, we are still continuing to range. We are still continuing to coil. We are still continuing to, pardon the pun, build energy. We looked at the weekly kickoff low yesterday, now headed to the other direction. 30-minute chart. We opened with a gap. We closed the gap. The gap became support. We didn't close that gap until 2 hours after the open. And then we continued this push to the upside. Boy, we really closed relatively well, just under $102 after starting the session, right, or just under 100. Take a look at the E-mini S&Ps. It's getting a little scary. So coming into this week, we knew we had an inside month. So in other words, we hadn't traded outside the high or low from March. The low from March, 41.29.50. Looks like we are headed right towards it. I hope it can duck. Looks like we've got a close below the weekly kickoff low of 41.70. Really emotional move to the downside here today. It really did. It did range for quite a long time, and in that period, take a look at this. You got some slowness going on here in this computer. Maybe we should sing songs till this thing opens up. Okay. I already did this, I thought. Here's our range for the session today. So yeah, it looks like our last close here, our last trade here, 41.67.75. Looks like we are going to close below that weekly kickoff low. Opening range was the high of the session. Remember, we talked about the late spike earlier today. We opened below the late spike and left the opening range at the high of the session. Strike 2. We accepted inside value from yesterday. Strike 3. Value area special situation plays out. We range, we take out the low. Look at the amount of delta that we accumulated to here. What is this? This is looks like it's approximately almost 17,000 in positive delta, with the market holding near the lows. And a lot of that delta just got taken out because a lot of those buyers are shorter time frame buyers. They're not holding positions overnight. They're looking for buyers to come back in this market and push it back higher, similar to what they were looking at yesterday. We had a delta divergence by the end of the day yesterday, but we had a ranging type situation that we were pretty close to the bone as far as delta is concerned. We had delta bringing price higher on a hollow move. We lost 7,000 in open interest on that move to the upside. Today, we have delta divergence. We have positive delta, which means the more aggressive traders are using market orders to buy. Who was in there selling today? If we have a large increase in open interest, this is going to be new sellers, new bets to the short side. If those bets to the short side continue to come into this market, we could certainly see points lower. We got our close below weekly kickoff low. We've got 40.94.25, which is the February swing low, and 40.86 is the 20% off the all-time high. Are we headed there? Certainly seems to be heading that direction. We've barreled right through an important inflection level. On shorter time frame sellers, probably those shorter time frame sellers are getting out of all those longs that they accumulated throughout the day. Another late spike, folks. Base of the late spike tomorrow. There we got two, kind of. Okay, our late spike. We've got the L base here where the market really started. Well, this is J, K, L, and M. The M base, basically this low right here, 41.83. I'm going to write that down. The L base right here, 41.94. Who knows if we're even going to get the opportunity. We may just open flat out lower, which will be, again, acceptance of lower pricing. Nasdaq did not have, however, that same delta divergence. Nasdaq was a harder market to trade today, I think, because of that. And here we are. Here's, whoops. I should do the Jeopardy music while this is going on. So here is the March low, 12,942. We've taken it out. We haven't taken out the March low in the S&Ps just yet. This market it has been exhibiting weaker behavior. The 20% is up here. We're looking at 25% off the all-time high as a potential move to this downside. We've got our lower lows and a two-touch trend line. We look like we're heading towards as we speak. The 30-minute chart. Okay, late spikes. Late spike, M period spike, the base, 13,625. The L period, 13,062, 13,030 weekly kickoff low. We're closing below it. We look like we are going to perhaps head that direction. Anything can happen, ladies and gentlemen. I'm hoping that there's some sort of good news that can put a stop to this, but I think we're in a little bit of trouble here. But then again, like Dad said, the market always looks the worst at the bottom and the best at the top. Gold. So losing 11,000 in open interest, we had some long liquidation. My brother Rick was in the forecast this morning, kind of joking, saying, well, maybe people will need money for margin. May not be all that funny. You may have been right. Downside digestion today, very small range inside extended trading hours. Take a look at the 30. I wonder why this thing is acting up like this. I think I wore it out today. So big continuation downside, overlapping lower, outright lower, little consolidation. Maybe a little bit of repair involved in this as well, but a very small range. Gold's kind of slipping off to the back burner for me, if you will. Here's the 6E. So slow. I thought I put the number, I thought I put a line down here. Here's weekly kickoff low. We broke out yesterday, adding some open interest. Volume seems to be maintaining on this continuation to the downside. If we see more open interest coming in today, this is a healthy auction to the downside. I mean, we came down here, we consolidated. We came down here, we consolidated. We've got a new directional market heading down here. Now, we were looking this morning at the maybe it's on the 30-minute chart. Let's take a look. The March 2020 swing low. There it is. 106.71. Basically finding support in it the better part of the day, and then finally resolving below. No gap close, no gap close. We're leaving lots of weak structure on the upside here, but that's only going to matter when it matters. We've got the dollar getting more expensive. Oh, this thing's killing me. So we have to see how things line up for us tomorrow. Ten-year. Another pullback to the upside. Rates continue slipping lower, although we know that they're going to be going higher. Timing is everything. Here's the 30. Why is this thing taking so long? So we found a little support here yesterday where we found resistance at last week's high. Very small range, volume iffy. We have to see what kind of open interest we bring into this. I may be kind of hands off on this till next week when we get closer to the FOMC meeting. And natural gas. Conflicting information. Bearish engulfing. Bullish piercing. We know we have a island top. If we could keep the chart on the chart here. All right. We know we have a island top here. What did it do today? Overlapping to higher, a little bit of a pullback here, some digestion, perhaps some inventory evening. Why is this thing taking so long? All right. So we held the gap all day long. The market closed with a late spike, maybe a late spike, maybe, and then finally goes and closes the gap and then comes back into range. Iffy, unclear, confusing, and probably a little bit like a buzzsaw. I'm going to be really careful if I'm trading nat gas in the next couple of days. All right. So, yeah, it's an important day today. There's a lot of opportunity and there's a lot of risk. If you manage to survive today, you manage to follow your plan, your process, your strategy, and your risk parameters. Give yourselves a round of applause. Good job. We're going to be here tomorrow. Opportunities will remain for tomorrow. And we're going to look forward to seeing everybody on the forecast. This day in history, kind of interesting. The polio vaccine trials begin today in 1954. The Jonas Salk polio vaccine, which became, I mean, everybody's had the polio vaccine, of course. And I remember friends of my parents who had had polio that were pretty deeply affected by it, and it was really, I think, the beginning of our understanding of how to combat viruses, which these days is pretty important, right? 1986, the Chernobyl disaster was today. 1984, President Reagan visits China. 1977, Studio 54 opens in New York City on this day. And in 1986, Maria Shriver marries Arnold Schwarzenegger. As far as music is concerned, I didn't get a chance to look at this. On this date in 1964, the Beatles, the Stones, and the Dave Clark Five headlined the NME Poll Winners concert at Wembley Empire Pool in London. 1969, Led Zeppelin, during the band's second North American tour, they played 2 nights at Winterland Ballroom, San Francisco and California. It was during that show that Whole Lotta Love was played live for the first time. I didn't know this. In 1982, on this day, Rod Stewart was robbed by a gunman of his $50,000 Porsche on Hollywood Boulevard in Los Angeles. It's about all I can find here that looks interesting. So tomorrow, got a lot to think about tonight. A lot of of homework to do, a lot of preparation. Make sure that you eat well tonight, that you get up tomorrow morning hydrated and feeling ready and flexible to trade what you see. It's going to be another interesting and challenging day. And whenever I say that, the market likes to make a liar out of me. It'll probably end up being a small range bound day tomorrow with GDP coming out on Thursday. Who knows? Anything can happen. ACH, that's our acronym here. And we'll look forward to whatever opportunities to find some fish tomorrow. Captain Price, easy day actually. Predictable retest. I thought that the market today was relatively easily readable in the S&Ps. The Nasdaq is a bit of a mystery to me. I don't trade the Nasdaq, but I think it was a little bit more challenged today. I think the signals the nuances were a little tougher to read. Just happy to have volatility back again. Nowhere near the bottom, not remotely close. I'm seeing 30% down from current levels. Steve. It's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it plays off. I'm hoping not, and at the same time, I'm hoping so we can get this out of the way. Nice job, Jake Moore, passing your step one today. Tachyon, peace to you. Mike, I only found one. PD, legend. PD, haven't seen you for a while. It's good to see you. Good afternoon, traders. You follow Prector, so I'm the most bearish around here. All right. Well, you have to see what happens. Again, get some rest tonight. Be good to yourselves. We work hard at this. We deserve to be good to ourselves. Of course, be good to others. Stay kind. Stay clean. Keep praying for peace. And I'll see you in the morning for the market forecast. Have a great evening. And again, get rested up. Could be another fun one for us tomorrow. See you tomorrow.